Hey guys, it's Nexus here, back again with another interview with a gamer. It's been a while, and yes, I know, finally, webcam's back. Because I've having troubles with OBS, so I switched over to Bandicam for doing this episode. And I would like to welcome Persephonics, a.k.a. Rachael. Hello there, how you doing?
I'm doing beautifully, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it's been a journey getting you to the interview.
Yeah, it took us a while to get here. I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
We all have lives. It's all fine. Okay. Alright, so I like to kind of explain every time I start these videos. Basically what I'll be doing is I'm going to be asking Rachael serious questions about Game Pass, stuff like that. And we'll get into some interesting views, and I actually have a couple topics I'm going to touch with her on and just kind of broaden the spectrum of this, because she's actually the first female YouTuber that I've actually done, so I kind of want to poke at some certain things, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I'm honored.
I know. You should feel honored. Anyway, alright, so, what started you into gaming?
Oh, I was given the original Nintendo for Christmas when I was a really, really little kid, and it was my first exposure to video games. And the very first Mario game, as craptastic as it was, I was obsessed instantly. Just moving forward, and I liked stomping on Goombas. I was a very destructive child.
Wow.
But it was a great game. I loved it.
Oh, okay.
And it just stuck with me.
And it stuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got so a Nintendo. Yeah, that was pretty much one of my first ones too. So this was the original NES, I'm guessing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The original. Yeah, do you remember, like, the cartridges would just always mess up, and you'd have to go through that whole process of, like, dusting them out and blowing on them and messing with them in the console over and over and over again to get them to play for, like, 30 minutes?
Yeah, where you just, like, you put up your mouth to it and you just go...
Exactly. Over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. And then you, like, restart it and then took it... Like, you basically had to get a degree in IT to work with the damn thing when you were a kid.
Exactly.
And you're just like, it's fun. But yeah, great system to begin with. It great system, and so
wonderful.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay. So I'm guessing that it was for, as I've asked with a bunch of different people, especially Peter, WrapTheTurtle. He said it was a way to kind of escape stress as a kid. Do you find it the same thing when you were just getting into gaming and doing something like that?
You know, the escape came later, but when I was very small, gaming was one of the few things that I had with my mother that was a really pleasant experience. It was like the one thing we could do together. And she'd even let me stay up on school nights really late and play with her. And it was a really nice, happy bonding moment. And I still associate a lot of gaming with those good memories early on.
Okay. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's kind of the same thing with me. I'll have to kind of get into a kind of emotional moment here. See, the thing is, probably the day after this is going to be uploaded. October the 29th is actually my dad's birthday.
Oh, honey.
Yeah. So he would have been 55 this year.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hit me in an emotional spark when you're talking about your mom in special moments, because that was the same thing with me and my dad.
It's very sweet.
And so he used to love watching me play games and stuff like that. And so it was my thing. So I tied that onto an emotional level for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely though.
Yes, that's pretty much with that. And I'm hoping to maybe do some streaming on that day, maybe for a little bit. After work.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, for that. Okay. Now, let's see here. Buffering. Mine is buffering right now. It's fantastic. Okay. Okay. So, you kind of, as I said, you were going with the Super Nintendo. Did you ever get the bug that happened with those systems?
The bug?
Yes, it was a bug. Basically, what would happen is you put the game in, you turn it on, it would flash and then turn all kinds of colors and then shut right off. and then you'd have to like blow on it for like 15 minutes and then put it back in.
You know, I don't specifically recall, but probably. Those early systems, as great as they were for the era, were just so kind of a clusterfuck, honestly. Am I allowed to swear in these interviews?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Jesus Christ, I was trying to be so polite. Oh, no, fuck everything. Yeah, no, I don't specifically remember the bug, but those systems, as beautiful as they were absolute clusterfucks. So probably?
Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, no, it's just with the specific bug, basically what would happen is you put in the game cartridge, you turn it on, and it would just go like multicolor and then go black, and it would not turn off. And you had to basically you had to unplug it, plug it back in, you had to cartridge, blow inside the cartridge, put it in there, tap it on the ass a couple times to see if there was anything wrong with it, and then you put it back in, then you turn it on, and it would work fine for an hour, and then you would do it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I have a very squeaky chair, by the way. I apologize.
My chair is probably worse. It's fine. As a kid, you grow up with the entertainment system. Is there any games besides the one that you specifically said that you kind of have a fond memory of that you kind of like to note?
I remember always wanting to go over to my friend's house. And I say friend, but I'm pretty sure this kid didn't actually like me. They just had to play with me because their parents made them. And that's fine because I didn't really like them. I just wanted to go over and play Duck Hunt. I loved Duck Hunt so much. With the stupid little plastic guns that didn't aim properly, and no matter where you aimed on the screen, it wouldn't fucking shoot the duck. I loved that game. And also the old arcade Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
I loved Mortal Kombat because I was in a very, like... I was in a very conservative home. So extreme violence like that was not allowed in any form of media entertainment. And so at like 8 or 9, I thought it was hilarious because, you know, empathy takes a while to develop. I'm sorry. I thought Scorpion ripping people's spines out was super funny. I was a very demented child.
That's about the same as me, really.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was probably about the same as me. Yeah, that's pretty much with that system. Another one throwback that I like to throw to is the like really old Legend of Zelda games. Oh my god.
You know, this is practically a crime for a gamer. I never played the Zelda games.
Well,
not ever. I know. I'm sorry. I never did.
Well, that's the kind of thing is you kind of get into, because there was the really like for one of the first Zelda games, it was actually decent on that system. 2 was weird. 2 was very weird.
I think the only Zelda game I ever played was on the Game Boy Color, one of the very early Game Boys, and I just remember being very frustrated with it and never playing it again.
I'm just trying to think which one that would be. Link's Awakening?
Maybe. I was pretty young, so I don't know. It's a long time ago.
No, because I specifically remember Link's Awakening being a Game Boy game, and it was just it was very frustrating, especially yeah. So I completely understand where they're coming from with that. Okay, so we're gonna go into your channel here. I have your channel up in front of me. Okay, just kind of start out with this kind of thing. I'd like to ask about your channel icon. Where you got it from, if it was designed by somebody, and you could throw them a shout out right now.
Oh, no, I designed the banner myself, and the icon is just the first letter of my username. Username, my handle, whatever you'd like to call it. Not super fond of that icon. It needs work, but, you know, it's all right for now.
Oh, okay. And so because some people go out and they find certain people to do stuff like that, and so you kind of just said, hey, I'm just going to do it myself.
You know, I would actually love to hire an artist and get something done properly, but at the time, I wanted to start my channel, I wanted to get things up, and I find that if I delay things, if I think of doing something and I don't do it right away, I will never get to it. So I just try to jump in as quickly as I can.
Oh, okay. That's understandable. That's very understandable. Okay. So I see that you have a 2 times a day, 7 times a week. How's that working out for you?
So, yeah, been on a bit of a hiatus. It was working beautifully before said hiatus, but I am looking to get back into it very, very quickly. I was away dealing with some personal family issues and some health issues, and that's getting better. So I'm looking forward to uploading again quite soon.
Yes, we need some more lovely things on your channel.
Oh yes, more honey pop.
Oh yes, a delight that is. Okay, let me just click on to your. Okay, so I find this very interesting. How you have, let's see, at the time of this video is 123 subscribers and 1,885 views. Now, what's interesting to me is that you have over 100 subscribers, yet your views are not on par where they should be. That's so strange. I don't know.
It's not that strange.
Well, I just might be a tired fool, but that's fine.
No. My point is actually you can take it one of two ways. Either there's a flaw in the content, in which case my content needs to improve, and that's a very valid point, and that may very well be the issue. Or it's one of the very common problems with being a female gamer on YouTube or Twitch, which is to say I'm not a cam girl.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's the thing. I have to, and actually later on in this interview, we're going to be talking. Hi-in. All right, but no. Yeah, it's probably being, there's, as the internet being as it is, there's these really thirsty guys that are going around just looking, seeing if they can find people on YouTube, especially chicks, just so they can watch.
I will say I do excel at somewhat clickbaity titles on certain games, and I wind up with a lot of what I think are frustrated porn clicks. Like there's a honey pop video with MILF in the title, and that video has more views than any other view on my channel, but the average watch time is 30 seconds. It's
just because you said that, I really want to find this.
The other one I believe was it had upskirt pics in the title. I think that was the other one. I could be wrong.
Okay, now see here. Wishing that this is never going meat, and here we see the wild and their natural habitat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and I see Double Dipper. Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
208 views. I understand.
That's always amused me.
Well, all right. After that little mild interruption and making sure that I didn't kill my potatoes. Anyway, okay. So now I guess I'll go back, since we were talking about Honey Pop. Okay. So I'll go back to your main page. Okay, so now kind of going back into it and that. Let's see here. So let's talk, since we were at Honey Pop, let's talk about Honey Pop. Because it is the best way I could probably put it would be is basically it's the type of game where you not want grandma watching you play it.
No, it is definitely not family friendly.
No, but as you've been playing it, I'd like to hear your explanation of the game.
Oh God. Honey Pop is a beautifully intentionally offensive dating simulator in which you are led through as many female stereotypes as possible. You have the wonderful, and I'm using scare quotes around wonderful, experience of giving appallingly offensive gifts to women. For instance, the lovely Japanese Aiko Yumi. When you give her a gift, you give her things like chopsticks and rice balls. And she's happy to get them. Your soul dies a little bit every single time. And you're led through this world of appallingly offensive dates and appallingly offensive questions. For instance, first date etiquette demands that you ask how much the girl weighs or what her cup size is. And you're led through the world by a fairy who you then later sleep with. It's oh so charming and accurate, and just a wonderful example of really the finest aspects of human nature.
I couldn't have put it any better myself.
Can we have a flashing sarcasm sign somewhere on the screen?
Yes, I can. I can try that.
God bless you, sir.
Yes, but no, I could feel the sarcasm rising at that point. And I'm just like, but no, generally the thing is with that is, especially if you're doing it for YouTube, do you censor any of that? Or you just don't care?
Oh no. I don't censor the behavior or the language, but part of Honey Pop is getting it's getting nudes on your phone in games, so I do censor those, much to the disappointment of a few people. But I do censor the pictures, and I do censor the... Can I just call them sex scenes? I don't know how to describe a match 3 game that involves sleeping with a fictional girl, but that's what it is. So I censor those. There's a lot of moaning that gets censored with elevator music and my groaning in horror.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, like, is there a certain process you go with editing those? I'm kind of interested because for some scientific reasons I might have to play it.
The only editing I do really involves putting black bars across certain parts of their body, usually with a smart-ass slogan to go with it.
Okay.
There was one lovely, lovely nude picture sent by, I think it was the girl called Belly, and I put a black bar across her chest with the words, "Go do your homework," in nice, white, bold letters. Beyond that, I just edit out the audio for the sex scenes and overlay elevator music to drive everyone as insane as possible.
Okay, so you basically...
I troll.
You troll them in the sense that that's fine, especially for a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see now. I'm trying to think of another game that'd be on par with that. Have you ever?
God.
No, I'm just not on par.
Good luck.
A friend of mine, who's an admin of one of my my Facebook page, she wants me to play Yandere Simulator. If you've ever heard
of that. I love that game.
Thing is, it's never been performance enough for me to actually be able to play the game properly. But it's just like trying to be as professional playing that, and just like I'm just like senpai. Yes, yeah, that's the epitome of everything else. But no, that's the thing.
Well, I appreciate your dedication to professionalism. I lack that completely, and the majority of my commentary is just me behaving like a giant, rabid 7-year-old.
Hey, like it's all good in the hood for me. Okay, okay. Now I'm just trying to see this. Okay, so I'm clicking onto your playlists. Now I'm very happy that you do this, like everybody else. You organize your stuff into playlists. Now I'm guessing you try to put all of your content into playlists because it makes it easier, correct?
Oh yes, absolutely. Organization is key.
Okay, so from looking at your stuff here, I see that you do a lot of multiplayer games. And I see a collab other channels thing, and what catches my eye is my icon.
You and I definitely do a lot of collabs together. That's true.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to me. Okay, I'm going to ask you about Frambo because I absolutely adore Frambo.
Yes, beautiful game. So good.
Now, Now, I noticed when watching your first episode, do you find that when there is cutscenes or certain audio games, you find that you shouldn't speak during those? Is it a kind of pet peeve?
It doesn't bother me when other people do it. It's a choice that I make in my own games not to do so. And it's one that I learned sort of getting into YouTube, because if you actually go back and watch the very, very first Honey Pop videos, there was kind of a battle between the NPCs and me for who was going to talk more, because I was trying so hard to maintain commentary that I wasn't allowing the characters to speak and shine. And going back and rewatching this, I found it very, very irritating. So with Fran Bow, I was very conscious, especially because it's such a story-based game, of letting the narrative shine, which it should. It's a very good game with a very well thought out story.
Okay. So you're on the point of when a game calls for it, that the commentator should kind of relinquish a little bit of the spotlight to the audio that's coming from the game, the cinematic,
Absolutely.
or whatever.
Turn on your subtitles and zip it.
Okay. That's understandable, and I completely agree with that process, because then it basically makes you seem more professional, believe it or not, and also it makes the game come out, and then people kind of thank you, because then they can see that beautifulness that comes out of the game, right?
Absolutely. I mean, being a Let's Player, it is a certain level of performance, but at the end of the day, we're here to give games, even very, very famous, well-known games, as much exposure as possible. And that means letting the story get the attention it deserves.
Very true. Very true. Okay. So now I'm going to try to go into some I'm not involved in it, or I have not seen before. Okay. So let's talk about Slayaway Camp.
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't have any exposure with this, I haven't really seen it being played, I kind of like to hear your explanation on it.
It's a bit like if Minecraft made a murder puzzle game. It's a wonderful cheeky nod to old school horror movies. And I'm a horror buff when it comes to movies, games, pretty much any media. It is completely adorable. And it's a very, very challenging 3D puzzle. Very cute. And if you enjoy, the horror movie tropes, cartoony gore, and just general adorableness, it's a fantastic game. So fun. Very challenging.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because it's just a very interesting thing. So I'm guessing it's kind of trying to trope. So let me guess, the Friday the 13th movies, stuff like that.
Absolutely. A lot of the was Friday the 13th the Jason movies? That wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, I get names confused. I'm sorry. I've seen so many that I get characters mixed up. But yes, a lot of teenagers away at camp and just killing them in as many ridiculous ways as possible.
Oh, okay. All right, that's understandable then.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere now. Okay. So, now going back to your main channel, I'm currently poking around as I always do with everything else. Okay. So, getting into it, is there any series on your channel that you would like, that you kind of put above the rest, that you would advise people to check out firsthand coming to your channel?
Oh, a series that I put to rest as in stopped playing?
No, I mean more as you kind of put above the rest, where you say it's kind of like your favorite, so people should check out, stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. If you're looking for actual commentary, the entertainment level of Let's Plays, I'd recommend Honey Pop, just because it's such a funny game and it's so easy to engage with, and I've really, really enjoyed everything I've ever done with that game, even the rage-inducing moments, because I'm so bad at match 3. I'm just so bad. It's a terrible thing for me. My brain hates it. So even the ragey moments were great fun for me. If you're looking for something that's based on gameplay alone, this is not a narrative game, but Oxygen not included. It's a wonderful, challenging, adorable strategy-based game, survival game, and it's just beautiful. I'd really, really recommend that game and that playthrough if you're just looking for an idea of what that game is.
Okay. I think that's on par. Oxygen Not Included is the same kind of game, just done by the same provider as Don't Starve, isn't it?
It is Clay Entertainment, and they make consistently wonderful games.
That's okay. That's what I thought. That's
I've never had a disappointing game from Clay Entertainment. They are a wonderful company.
Shout out to Play Entertainment.
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay. Okay, now I have to kind of toot my own horn. Since this is a thing.
Oh, yes.
And since I introduced you to it, you touched it last.
God, we played for what, like 2 or 3 hours that day, if not longer, and I spent the entire time hiding, generally poorly, and shrieking hysterically whenever the bomb went off or someone found me. I actually lost my voice for the next day after that.
Yeah, I think it's so good. It was like every little bit I was just coming up behind you or something. It was just like...
Yes, there was a lot of shrieking. In fact, I distinctly recall thinking that I had found the safest hiding spot in the entire map and no one was ever going to find me. And literally 2 seconds after I'm bragging about this to you and Rob, I peek around the corner and I see you running towards me with the ball aimed and ready to go. And yeah, took off shrieking because that's all I know how to do. Run away and scream.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite fun modes, and we really need to get back in on that.
We absolutely do.
Because it was absolutely fantastic.
It's too funny.
Let's see here. So, I see that you have a collab's other channels. I'm guessing you don't put those in any certain order. You just throw them in as you please.
I do at the moment, but actually part of getting off of my hiatus and, coming out of that hiatus, I want to reorganize a few things and change a few things and explore a few different games. Part of that is wanting to reorganize my collab playlist because I collab with so many wonderful, wonderful people that I'd actually like to organize it by username, the people I'm with. So, other people can find their channels much easier.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, though. At the moment, it's just kind of a mess in there. I'm sure I'm missing a few videos. I need to get on that.
I do love how I look at the list and I see one done by Ed Strike 909. Donald Trump hates sex toys.
Yeah. He's shout out to Edge Strike. Great kid, amazing voice, so funny. Very skilled with titles. Very, very special boy. We're all very proud of him.
Oh yes, well that's the thing. It's just because I just noticed that right away, and I'm just like, huh.
Yeah. He's quite funny, and if you've never heard of him, I recommend you get over to his channel ASAP because he's just hilarious and a wonderful voice. Very, very nice voice.
Okay. So let's talk about your thumbnails. Do you find that you spend a good amount of time on your thumbnails, a little bit of time, or it just really depends on what game you're playing?
I would say that right now I spend a small amount of time on thumbnails because when I started uploading videos, I had no experience with editing, Photoshop, anything. I was literally learning to edit videos and make thumbnails as I went. And it's something that even during my hiatus, I've been trying to improve that skill. So right now on the practice thumbnails, I spend a pretty solid amount of time. And I'm very excited to demo those in the future. The ones on my channel currently, as of this date, they probably took me maybe 5 minutes, if that. They were the best I could do at the time.
Okay, so that's something that you're striving towards improving.
Absolutely. I think thumbnails are actually quite crucial to a channel's success. I just didn't have the skill at the time, and I was operating on what I knew.
So, is there anything that you are going to be bringing to your channel in the future that you would like to talk about?
I'm really, really looking forward to coming off of this hiatus as strongly as possible. It's been about 2 months since I've really uploaded and kept to my original schedule. And It was a necessary hiatus, although it was frustrating. And I've been slowly recording a lot of really, really interesting horror games, a lot of really fun indie horror games, and some very interesting narrative games. And I love narrative games, visual novels especially. I've got a few of those coming to the channel, and I'm really excited to see how people respond to those.
Okay. So you don't want to drop any names right now because you want to keep it sensitive?
Not just yet, no.
Okay, that is completely understandable.
I'm very excited for it, though.
Okay. Okay, let me click that. Thank you. Okay. Alright, so we've kind of established what you're doing with your channel. You say you come off of hiatus and you kind of want to get back into everything.
Absolutely.
Okay, since we kind of chatted about that, I think it's time to get into some gritty details. Okay, so now you specifically said that you don't do the cam girl thing. You don't actually do webcam at the moment.
No, I don't.
No. I'd like to hear your viewpoint on the whole gamer girl kind of thing, where especially streamers, where they kind of use their gender to, kind of bring those, because what you're trying to avoid with guys coming to your channel and stuff like that, looking for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to know your kind of opinion on the whole gamer girl, streamer girl, using their looks as a way for the channel to go forward.
It's not something that personally bothers me when other people do it, because I think everyone has the right to handle themselves and their situation as best they see fit. And there is certainly an audience for that. There's a very, very large audience for that. It's just not a choice that's ever going to be right for me. And part of that is also understanding who I am. I have a very adult sense of humor. I tend to be foul-mouthed. I tend to make a lot of sexually oriented jokes. And if I ever played into the idea of using my own sexuality for, say, subs or views, that's a situation that could be taken in a much different way than it's intended. And it's not a situation that I want to encourage. And also, I would rather people watch content because they find it amusing or interesting or enjoy the game, not because they want to see me in a tank top. So it's not a choice that's right for me. It's not a choice that I won't ever insult anyone who chooses to feed into that. They're right. And like I said, there's obviously an audience for it, but it's not a choice that's ever going to be appropriate for me.
Yes. And that's the kind of thing that I kind of wanted to touch upon, is that it's, as I said, it's everyone's personal preference of what they want to do with it. But I still have to kind of say that, as I'm thinking about it, is kind of a luring in factor. And I find that it's not really I know there's an audience for it. God damn, there's an audience for it. But there is kind of an aspect to it where it kind of borders on being clickbait.
Absolutely.
And being kind of gamer porn, as I would put it. Kind of like
absolutely.
And because there's tons of streamers, and there's lots of people who do YouTube. There's a lot of people who do streams. And there's some that get banned because of stuff like that. Like, there's chicks that go out there and just, certain amounts of people watching or stuff like that, they'll just throw money at them as they kick off their clothes and stuff like that. And it's just like, I just personally, with me, I find it kind of ruins the experience of gaming. Like, I'm watching you play a game. Like, of course, there's that aspect there, and I do applaud, people who are, actually doing the entertainment. Like, if somebody in a really interesting channel, I find that it's good to watch like that. But I'm there for the experience. I'm not there just to watch a pair of tits, essentially.
Absolutely. I mean, there's selling your sexuality and there's selling your content, and those are two very distinct things. I think the idea that you can blend them is fundamentally flawed.
Yeah.
If you're selling your sexuality and you happen to be playing a game, yes, there might be people that glance at the other side of the screen and watch the game for 2.5 seconds, but no one is there for your gaming skills or your commentary or your personality.
Yeah, that's the truth of it. And the thing, just sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
No. The one thing I like to kind of point out, especially with that, is that they're going to basically invite that kind of audience to your streams and stuff like that. It's going to cause a multitude of problems, especially for let's say female YouTubers like yourself who are not looking for that aspect, getting drawn to them, aka thirsty guys who who just come up and they're just keep asking questions, pressing for images and stuff like that, and sending dick pics, essentially.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even use a face cam. I do have a Twitter and a Instagram, and if you visit either of them, it's the most mundane, non-sexuality oriented social media account you could imagine, and I still get that kind of attention. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I don't mind people being respectful, but there's actually a great deal of very disrespectful, lewd behavior. And I'm not unaware that if I ever choose to use a face cam, it's going to get worse. And that's not dependent on selling sexuality. That's just the reality of it. And unfortunately, right now, to be a streamer or a gamer on YouTube that happens to be female, the assumption, no matter what you happen to be doing, is that you're essentially a cam girl, which is frustrating.
Yes, and that's the thing is, and me as a fellow YouTuber, I use my cam for stuff like this and streaming stuff like that, and that's just to kind of get my facial reactions, the way I'm playing games. And so, if somebody chooses to not use a webcam, that's perfectly fine with me. It's not going to judge. Throw an example. Have you the RPG Minx?
Yes.
Yes. She is one of my favorite YouTubers.
She's lovely.
And she's lovely, and she didn't reveal her face and have webcam for the longest time, and she got big, and as a YouTuber she's huge, so she's getting a bunch of people, stuff like that, and she did a face reveal, and then some people were kind of blue about it, but personally it didn't change my view of her because her commentary was amazing. I was there to watching her episodes and what she did with Hunt and all that.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. I
was just going to say, I do actually, I do want to use a face cam in the future, because reactions are actually, genuine reactions are some of my favorite parts of Let's Plays. I really enjoy the human element to that. But the goal for me was always to establish even a very small base, but still a base that was there for the game and the content and the commentary. And to really focus my energies on improving that content and that commentary as much as I could before using or introducing an element that as a female gamer could very, very possibly impact the way that my audience reacts to me.
Yes. See, one thing that I do recommend, especially because of that, is to instill mods. See, the thing is, for example, you may not know this, but when you set a mod for your YouTube chat, you actually set a mod for your entire channel. So, for example, you didn't know that, yes. But since with those comments and those stuff coming through on your channel, if you can actually have somebody go through your comments and remove them, and make so that they're gone before you even see them, so you're not bothered by.
Good to know.
Yeah. So, for example, if I was so keen, I could basically anytime because we can be notified of when you get comments, because I can comment on your stats and people can comment them as well, and we can basically, if you're a mod on a person's channel, you can automatically highlight those to be removed so that you're not bothered by them.
Oh, that's very useful. Very good to know.
Yeah. So with comments stuff like that, on Discord, we're using right now, it's kind of hard to a certain point, but that's generally the whole kind of gist of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I do thank you for responding to this question. I know that it was a little bit uh, kind of an antsy topic, but I do appreciate your professionalism in answering it as best you could.
It's my pleasure. I actually wish it was something that people talked about more openly, because it is something that affects the gaming community as a whole, but especially female gamers in YouTube or Twitch. Um,
Yeah.
Very
Well,
happy to
that's
talk about it.
yeah, and so like I'm not done with the topic now because I figure since I have the outlet for it, to kind of talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
okay, so as a female YouTuber,
Mhm.
I know you've experienced this. As you were talking about that, you do get a bunch of messages,
I do.
which are directed because you are female, because you
Oh
get them from
yes.
guys and stuff like that, and selling it like that. Um, Especially for stuff like that, does that discourage you every time that you record a video, knowing that you might get those kind of messages? Does it discourage you?
Yeah, it absolutely does. Um, I took my hiatus for personal reasons, family and health specifically, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of that thread in there too. I was getting very, very frustrated with attention on videos being exclusively about me. And I know that sounds odd because who the hell doesn't want, flattering attention directed their way? But that was never the point of what I was doing. My goal was always to provide something entertaining. And it's very possible that I've failed at that. But rather than seeing it like that, my goal was always to continuously improve that comment or that content and that commentary. So to get a lot of attention directed exclusively at me, exclusively it wasn't I actually don't get a lot of I don't get many YouTube comments that are inappropriate. It was more people watching the videos and then finding me on Instagram or Facebook and sending me private messages, sometimes Discord. And yeah, it was very frustrating. A lot of it was frustrating because I always wanted to be there for the content and the entertainment and not I'm not a chat bot or a cam girl. So yeah, it was absolutely frustrating.
Okay, so yeah, I would imagine it would be so, especially with there being really, really thirsty guys. I've talked to you a
Mhm.
couple times about that, and
Oh yeah.
as I said, you need to put up a glass of water and say, if you're thirsty, drink this. Stop bothering me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
see, that kind of puts it a damper. And so, especially in the gaming community, is there's kind of not this kind of equality, especially um, for between YouTubers, especially with there being like saying all the attention go towards these cam girls, as you put it.
Mhm.
And it's kind of the thing is it kind of dumbs down, and people kind of expect this kind of behavior from all female YouTubers. There's some people who do not expect that at all, but there are people out there who typically think that if you're on YouTube and you're a girl and you're doing games stuff like that you're gonna have face cam, you're gonna do this provocative stuff, and it really puts a kind of damper on people coming into this kind of thing to do it. And I find it kind of just really kind of discourages that, and so people kind of want to fall into that niche of saying, hey, to get the views I gotta show the goods. and
Oh, absolutely.
and I don't find it fair because there are some really good gamers out there who are female, who are good at the games they play, and they're good at the commentary, and they're not being given a chance because that these people are focusing on them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is a lot of pressure to play into that. I remember being on YouTube for a grand total of about 5 days, and I was introduced to a Discord server specifically for small YouTubers that were looking to grow and learn. And I got a lot of attention in that server. And the first thing a lot of people said to me was start using Facecam and make sure that you look pretty and wear something nice. And that's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm here for at all. And I know a lot of female gamers. If you go on a lot of the Let's Play Reddits or the girl gamer Reddits, there's a lot of people talking about how they work so hard on their content and there's still so much pressure and so many people giving them advice or requests to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to do certain things, and they feel they have to, or their time on YouTube or Twitch is pointless. And that's a sad thing, because there's a lot of really good content creators out there that aren't getting their due.
Yeah, and it does not help with YouTube, what they're doing now, with pressuring like that, and that's kind of going to lead me into my other topic, tags, because, do you find that tags are kind of an easier thing to do, especially with videos?
I find tags reasonably easy to do, but I also want to point out that I am not the best with tags either. The tags that I use definitely serve my purpose, and that's fine. There are a lot of people who optimize them to such an extreme point that it must be not only profoundly efficient, but exhausting to do. And I've never taken it that far. I always assume that if I continue churning out the correct content and improving, and at least getting enough tags on there that people can find me if they need to or want to, then it's pretty much doing its job. I don't think there's something to completely obsess over, but they're not something to neglect.
Okay. As you said, you do your titles. You say you try not to do clickbaity titles, but that kind of ties into the whole thing.
Oh, I totally do. No. I excel at clickbaity titles. I just don't do the cam girl thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I applaud you for it.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So, this has been a deep conversation about this topic, which is great. Because this makes it really interesting for me. Okay. So since we're kind of on this train with video and stuff like that, is there any series that you find is easier, like a type of genre that you find easier to do gameplay videos on? You said horror, for example.
A horror for me is very easy because I love the horror genre as a whole. So that's great fun for me. I find, for me personally, playing the most ridiculous games is amazing. Like, one of the reasons I love Honey Pop is because there is so much to work with. There is just so much material to go off of. It's so funny and so absurd. And there are literally NPCs talking to you. You can just converse with them. It's beautiful. So for me, horror games and honestly anything that's just completely absurd. Honey Pop was amazing. And there's a few games I've played that are coming up that are just absolutely batshit insane. And they were the easiest, most enjoyable things to record. I love those.
Now, looking at your page right now, I see that you have we're going to call this part here Shoutout Corner. So I see there is a list of awesome people on your page.
Oh,
now,
yes.
Is there anybody you'd like to shout out right now? Because I will throw their channels in the description.
I would love that. I know a lot of really, really wonderful guys. Is it too ass kissy if I offer to shout out you, considering it's your channel? Could I be like, oh, hey, you should all go check out this guy Nexus. It's not like you're already on his video. Is that a thing I can do?
No, yeah, you're a self-promotion everywhere. It's fine.
Of the channels, there's a lot of featured channels on my my front page, and I'd strongly recommend everyone check out that list. But if I had to select a few, I'd strongly recommend checking out Mowlawner. He's very funny, very personable. He's got two really wonderful series, one which he plays solo games, and another that he does with his friend called Inconsolable, and it's very reminiscent of Game Grumps, and it's so funny. So funny. And the fact that they are not already in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers is unbelievable to me. Another channel are two lovely people, a lovely married couple by the name of the Bombadiers. Very funny. Love them. And aside from them, I'd have to say, and yes, I'm completely biased, my best friend in the world, WrapTheTurtle. He's a streamer almost exclusively these days. Doesn't do a lot in the way of videos, but he streams Dishonored and Battle Crashers and Outlast. He's doing an Outlast series right now, and he's just very funny, very cool guy, very, very nice.
I'm also circling around the people that you're talking about because I feel like it.
Thank you. Yes, but yes, there are so many wonderful people on that list. Strongly recommend them out. Oh, and I do have to point out Get Good Gaming, wonderful people. And we're talking about the original Get Good Gaming, a small channel, There
Oh,
is actually a
yes.
much larger channel by the name of Get Good Gaming, and unfortunately, they changed their name after these gamers had already made their channel, which is pretty shady. But
Yeah, I am completely in the know about that. Yeah.
yep, quite sad. So I do have to give out a shout to the original Get Good Gamers because they are fucking amazing. So smart, so funny. They're gonna do big things.
Very good. And now, who's this Nexus guy? Jesus.
Yeah, that guy. He shows up in a lot of my collab videos. He's an interesting dude.
I don't know. Thumbs up. But yes, no, I have to agree. Peter is. I love Peter to death. He is amazing. I try to join his streams as much as possible, but with you working night back shift, it doesn't really help, especially. But I've been watching his Outlast streams, and I've just been like, dude, do this. Dude, don't go over there. No, dude, no.
He's really funny to watch, really sweet, really happy to engage with people that are watching. It's lovely.
Yeah, because of him, I kind of went to. I'm doing kind of a revisit series on Outlast. I actually did 2 episodes. I actually completed Outlast in under 4 hours.
Oh my god, that's impressive.
Yep, I did it in 2 parts. They're currently on the channel now. I will put a link to them right now. But
Beautiful.
But yes, it was just I kind of watched him play, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. And so I did it in 2 sessions, like under 2 hours each.
It's fantastic. That is such a good game. It's actually one of my favorite horror games of all time.
Oh yes, it's always good. And I plan on hopefully continuing the revisit series, probably with the DLC, the Whistleblower DLC, probably in a bit. But that's fine.
Oh, Whistleblower. Have you played Whistleblower yet?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Oh yeah, obviously. Revisit series. Got it. I could have put that together, but I didn't. But yeah, Whistleblower was probably better than the first Outlast, and definitely better than the second. Really good game.
Yeah, but it's just it was really interesting. Kind of ties in the first Outlast game into what actually was going on, because you actually meet the person who sent the email to him.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
so you figure out stuff with that. So it's perfectly good series, and Outlast is just I love it. Outlast 2 had its own niche. I still loved it because it scared the crap out of me some points.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did. It's really good. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's, well, so you've already kind of touched on what's coming to your channel. Is there any series that you can talk about that you'd like to let people know of? Just like, even just a tiny bit.
Just a little tiny bit? Just a teensy bit. I'd have to say that I'm looking really, really forward to finishing the Beholder series, which I adore, and I'm really looking forward to uploading the Oxenfree series, which is a beautiful narrative game. Very original, very unique, and beautifully written. Very excited about that one.
Okay. Alright, and I am very interested in hopefully seeing maybe some Don't Starve, maybe.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Could that be because we have a long-running collab that has yet to appear on my channel?
Yeah, there's like, what, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes for me?
There are, and they will also be going up when I officially come off of hiatus. And that is one of the funniest collabs I've ever done. We are terrible at that game.
We are absolutely terrible. Yes, we die so much.
We're so bad. We're so bad. We die, we go back to our bodies, and then we die again.
Well, last little bit is just like, and we lost Chester, and
we lost Chester! Our baby!
I know.
So sad.
Okay. Alright. So, when you're not on YouTube, I'm guessing you can be contacted by your Instagram and Twitter?
Absolutely.
Alright. And yes, and anybody watching this, nice messages.
Yes, there will be no showing of tits or eating frozen bananas on cam. No bikini streams, none of that shit.
No, that's not the content that we're pushing here. Though if you want to be pointed to, let's say, a certain other YouTuber doing it, that's fine.
Yeah, totally. Just get on Twitch and then throw in like a nickel, and it will bounce off of 80 of them. Fine.
True.
I'm just not one of them.
Or I know. It's like, no, I just thought of it. It would be a terrible thing for us to do to Peter.
Oh my god, no, it'd be amazing. Oh, totally do that. Oh, it'd be glorious. And in fact, my friend Andrew over at the Bombadiers, beautiful man, just did like a whole week of videos in a dress. I'd strongly recommend you go over there because he's just beautiful. The most beautiful princess you can imagine.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I bet he'd eat all the frozen bananas on cam just for you.
Well,
that's a thing, by the way.
Oh, I know it is.
Okay, yeah. I know. I saw this video way back in the day, like a year ago, and it was like playing, I don't know, let's just say Super Mario Brothers, which it totally wasn't, but still, while eating a chocolate-covered banana. And I'm like, what? Because I'm naive, because I'm innocent, and I didn't know. And I was just like wandering into this video like a little wide-eyed lamb. Like, I wonder why she's eating a banana. And then I saw it, and all I see is like the cam covers everything from like just below her rib cage to the top of her nose. And she's wearing nothing but a bikini and eating a banana while she holds a controller. And I'm just like, oh, sweet Lord. This is not what I was prepared for. Where's the game? It wasn't even playing in the video. It was just like, you could hear the noise of it in the background. It's like, everything hurts me.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, especially with certain things, it's just like, the game's there, but it's not playing.
Yeah, also, the way she was eating that banana, let me tell you, people, that's not how you eat a banana. She didn't even bite it. That's not how you eat a banana.
I'm horrified now.
She was just straight up filleting the banana. There was no biting, no chewing. It was just straight up filleting a banana.
It would get so mushy.
There was a lot of lip smacking sounds. I was very concerned.
Oh, right. Okay.
Welcome to Nexus's family-friendly content, featuring Persephonics.
Yes. Right. Okay. All right. Okay. To kind of this be one of the last two questions. Actually, I probably should have said at this beginning, but as we were talking about female YouTubers and stuff like that, do you have any advice for any females coming in who are gamers who want to do YouTube that you want to give them a kind of a step up or kind of advice to get started with, especially with the whole gamer girl kind of thing?
Absolutely. I direct this advice exclusively to the girls who don't want to sell their sexuality as part of their content, because if they do, there's already a market for that, and there's already guidelines, and they can pretty much establish themselves quite quickly. So for those looking to avoid it, it would just be to focus exclusively and intensely on improving your content. That is the biggest thing. It doesn't matter what other people say. The messages can be frustrating, and the expectation that you will behave in a certain way can be very, very frustrating. But just focus on improving your content. Keep playing games, keep making videos, work on your commentary, just get better. And if you're already good, get even better. That's all you can do. And I think really focusing on the content takes a lot of the frustration out of it. It doesn't take it away completely, but it makes it a lot easier to deal with if you're focused on, say, improving your comedic timing, as opposed to obsessing about the 16 dick pics you just got on Instagram.
Wow, because I'll tell you the hashtag dick pic victim.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, that's my advice to everyone on Twitch or YouTube, is just continue improving your content. If you're already good, get even better. If you're better, get fucking great, because that's the only thing you can control.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can't control, what time, like, you can control the times that you're streaming videos on YouTube, but the main thing is to try to improve the content to a point that it is, like, the best it can be. Like, you just start out, you understand how to do, like, timing on videos and stuff like that. And also, one thing I like to throw ahead of it is video length. if you try to stick around if you can, especially for Let's Plays, 20 to 30 minutes, because I know a lot of people don't want to sit around for that unless you're streaming, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, sticking to like lower counts on videos because it'll make it a lot better. But with this, well, some things kind of warrant a longer title. Like for example, us talking about gamer girls and stuff like that. And it's going to be at least 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But that's perfectly good. Kind of laid off for the end of it. Yeah. Actually, no. I was trying to think. Say for all YouTubers, but is there any kind of lasting advice that you kind of like to throw there to anybody before we go?
Oh, I mean, aside from what I've already said about just focusing on improving the content, the best advice I could give, and we all fall victim to this, literally, I've never met a single YouTuber that doesn't in some way. And that's don't let yourself fall into entitlement, because we all do. We all work so hard on putting videos together and the commentary and putting things together. It's a frustrating climb. It really, really is. And there's so many bad moments where you're frustrated and you think, God, I deserve better than this, or I'm just going to give up because nobody likes it. And you just can't do that. It's so frustrating and you just can't do it. So when you feel like that, just remember that we all feel like that universally. Even the people who are doing extraordinarily well felt like that. And focus on the one thing you can control, which is getting better. Because at a certain point, if you keep going, you will get so good they can't ignore you. And that's the goal for all of us.
Okay. Well, that is very good. Okay, so I'd like to thank you, Rachael, for taking the time to do this interview. It's kind of been an emotional journey.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Yes. As I do with everybody else, at the end of this video, I will link to Rachael's channel, and I will link to one of her most recent videos, because I would do like that. And everybody who's been mentioned, I will also throw their name in there as well in the description. And I will have to say ta-ta for now.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.